It's time to welcome the next gentleman to the stage. So I say this in huge capital letters. You have to check out his comedy album called Nick and Sheila's Kid. It is hysterical. Put your hands together for Mr. Prateek Srivastava.
Yo,
Yeah.
what's going on? How about a hand for our host? Can we give it up for Luz? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking do it. Yeah, okay. I figured it out. It was a weed caramel that I took at an album recording for a comic I didn't like. That was where the problem started. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. And then I took it, and then I thought I died and went to Purgatory. And it turns out, you know what Purgatory was? It was my laundry room. That's what the fuck it was. I'm like, am I in heaven or I'm in hell? But wherever I am, I see a lot of Tide Pods. What the fuck is going on in this Purgatory? Let's address it. I look like a swami that sells you acid. Look at this outfit that I'm wearing. Jesus Christ. This is an acid trip. This fucking jacket I'm wearing like now. So I'm in Chicago right now, but for you New Yorkers, you might remember, what was his name? Matthew Lesko, the guy who would run around Times Square being like, I can give you money from the government. That's what this jacket looks like. Like, what the fuck is going on with this thing? This jacket looks like a magic eye come to life. This is fucking insane. Remember magic eyes? Hells yeah. Fucking thing. Let me tell you about this jacket. This jacket actually belonged to my Uncle Scott. Yeah, all my relatives have white names. What the fuck? I got my parents' names are Nick and Sheila, but they're Indian. And they got an Uncle Scott, not actually my uncle. He's my father's college roommate. But in my family, if you were a college roommate, you become a fucking uncle. That's how the fuck it works in my family. We love everybody. So I had this Uncle Scott. This is what he did for a while. He around the holidays, he would call families and pretend to be Santa Claus for families for children who couldn't go out and see Santa Claus. And so last year, I thought I would honor his memory because he's unfortunately no longer with us. And I thought because of COVID, I would in turn start voluntarily calling families and pretending to be Santa Claus for the kids that couldn't go see Santa. Problem is, I have a weird fucking voice that doesn't sound like Santa Claus. I tried to work on the impression, and what I got was like a ho, 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 which sounds like Richard Nixon doing Santa Claus. It was fucking nuts, you guys. It was like a bad Richard Nixon mixed in with a bad Lorne Michaels from Saturday Night Live impression. It was just ugh, it was bad. So I try to wear this jacket to honor Uncle Scott. You know, he's now no longer with us. Funny enough, the last time I saw Uncle Scott was in Oakland, California, a couple years ago. I was doing some shows out there, and I met Uncle Scott up, and he was living out of his Volkswagen bus or whatever, that's typical hippie shit. And he didn't have a meal, so I was like, I'll buy you lunch or whatever. And I reminded Uncle Scott, like, yo, back in the day, you used to like call families and pretend to be Santa Claus. And I just want to say that's really admirable, Uncle Scott. And I could see that he was disheveled, but he could he started to perk up a little bit. He started smiling. I made him feel good. And then he reached into his pocket and he pulled out a bag of cocaine, y'all. Yeah. And I had a choice. Do I do cocaine with Santa Claus? It's going to be a white Christmas indeed, everybody. Yeah. That's fucking good. Here's a tip. Here's a tip for anybody. When somebody tells you to go back to India, try to be high. When you're high, it makes the experience way better. Because the last time I was high and somebody told me to go back to India, I looked at them and said, "Hey, I don't think India wants me either." Okay, like it was so beautiful. Just tell them that, hey, I grew up in America, and when I go back to India, I never feel like I truly belong, because when I go back to India, I feel like a bootleg Gucci bag that wasn't made in the original factory. Okay, because it was rough. I wasn't born in the original factory of India. I was born in a dirty apartment in the city of Chicago during a Wheel of Fortune marathon, you guys. And the only reason it was Wheel of Fortune was because Jeopardy was a rerun that day. That is why. I have not tried to speak Hindi while high. I speak Hindi when I'm sober, and it doesn't sound any better, you guys. It doesn't sound any better now. I will now demonstrate some Hindi in my fucked up voice. Here we go. Hum Hindi bolte hai. Lake and Mirror accent Ajib sa hai. For the minimal Hindi speakers in the audience, that translates to I speak Hindi, but I sound like Gilbert Godfrey in the microwave. Fucking bad. Why do I talk like that? Why do I sound like a Rosetta Stone commercial? What the fuck is going on there? There was some talk earlier about being high at work. I had the worst job to be high at. You know what that job was? Monitoring children's social media accounts for cyberbullies and predators and suicidal thoughts. Don't be high at that job. Yeah, I used to monitor children's social media accounts. And you know how I got this job, everybody? I got this job taking improv comedy classes with my boss. Which makes me one of the few people ever to get a job from taking improv comedy classes. Am I right, you guys? Yeah. I am a unicorn. The worst thing I ever saw at this job as a Facebook monitor is the worst thing I ever saw was I was monitoring a chat between a 10-year-old talking to another 10-year-old. And this 10-year-old was saying, "Hey, girl, are you a school? Because I want to shoot up inside of you." What the fuck, you guys? What is wrong with our kids? This is a 10-year-old who doesn't even know long division yet, and he's talking about shooting up inside of you. Get the fuck out of here. Gotta take care of our kids. Speaking of kids, I don't have any kids, but I trust my parents. They did a pretty good job raising me. I mean, I'm performing on Twitch on 420. I think I'm doing pretty well in life. All right, you guys? Yeah. I trust my parents, though. I have not smoked with my parents. My parents don't smoke. They don't smoke weed. They do drink alcohol, though. You know what type of alcohol they drink? They drink 10 bottles of rosé every week. They're fucking alcoholics, you guys. Yeah. My traditional Indian parents drink alcohol like a bachelor party from Connecticut. What the fuck is going on there, you guys? It's fucking wild. Don't smoke with my parents, though. I think my parents might know that I partake. We'll see. My mother did do this one thing, though. She gave me a birthday present for my 30th birthday, which was a smoke detector. So I'm like, okay, what are you trying to say with that fucking present, Mom? What are you doing with that present, Mom? What are you doing? So I was actually moving into a new apartment on my 30th birthday, and I thought, for fun, let me just plug in this smoke detector and see what happens. And guess what, Twitch sphere? A lot fucking happens. This thing starts beeping like crazy. And it's not just a regular smoke detector. Ho, ho, ho. This is a digital smoke detector from Home Depot. It's got like digital numbers. Sirens are going off. Sparks are flying off. It sounds like a Skrillex song, you guys. It's going fucking nuts. And I was moving into a new apartment with a new roommate who was pissed off at me for my smoke detector. So he starts blasting Metallica. So this fucking thing sounds like an EDM Metallica song. It's fucking nuts, you guys. It's going crazy. So I call my mom. This is the exact phone I use. And I'm like, "Hey, Mom, how do I get this thing to stop beeping?" She says, "Take out the batteries and it will stop beeping," which is horrible advice, you guys. Horrible advice. But I am a good son, everybody. I listen to my mommy. I know what the fuck's going on. So I unplug the detector. I rip out the batteries thinking it'll stop beeping. And guess what, Twitch fear? It does not stop beeping. It's still going nuts. So I decide to take this thing and return it to Home Depot. Problem is, you know, when I get very anxious and when I get very high, I forget that I look like this. So in my state of euphoria and lucid state, I grab this beeping thing, I put in my backpack and get on the Chicago City bus with the beeping backpack. See something, say something. Am I right? 420ers? Yeah. I just turned my life to an episode of the TV show Homeland. But you're probably wondering, and this happened, by the way, a couple of years ago. This was back in Trump's America. So you're probably wondering, did Prateek Srivastava, Prateek, Nick, and Sheila make it to Home Depot that day? And I would never lie to anybody here. So I will say, Prateek Srivastava, Prateek, Nick, and Sheila made it to Home Depot that day. Yeah. And if you wanna celebrate that, if you wanna clap it up for racial progress, you don't clap it up for racial progress. But if you want to clap it up for anything, clap it up for people not giving a fuck on the bus. How about that? How about that? Hey, happy 420, everybody. I'm gonna go do some acid now. Thank you guys. Good night.
Give it up, Mr. Prateek Srivastava.